Guys, something strange is happening this cycle, which is very different from last cycle, and it's catching a lot of people off guard. So in this video, we're going to talk about some of the things that have changed, especially over the last few weeks and months, and what could potentially be happening right now in this space that could lead us into quite a nice setup. So first of all, you've probably heard me say this before. When you're in a bull run, it normally takes 12 to 15 months to actually level out and go into a bear market and go into some accumulation phase. For example, last cycle, when we had this massive bull run, this is the monthly candles, by the way. If we count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months, it literally brings us to the bottom. And even if you bought in month 13, 14, 15, you bought around the bear market, right? So I would say 12 months to 15 months, you roughly find a bottom after having your parabolic bull run. And also, obviously, we've got the SMC bot now, and we get these yellow indicators. So great yellow monthly on Ethereum to signal that it was kind of topping out and might be coming down. Again, nice yellow signal here. We actually shorted the Grayscale ETF around here and ended up making some gains. It did come back and retest. Luckily, I took profits. It did come back and retest, but then it went straight back down. Now, look at this. If we count the months from the top, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 was the exact bottom. And it usually takes 12 to 15 months top to bottom. Most of the time it's 12 months, right? 15 is kind of the safety net. But 12 months, we've had continued downside, not just on Ethereum. Look at this, Render. This is roughly where we started to take profits on Render in this massive rally. We traded it, obviously, we shorted, we took a long position here. And then if we go back, so this was March 2024. If we go down to where we are today, we're in July, right? So around 15 months later, it has been down only. It's been down only for 15 months. Now, Bitcoin in March 24 was not even over 70K, right? I think it was around 60K, 50K. So Bitcoin has been going up, yet altcoins have been going down into what is classically a bear market. If we look at the last cycle, it topped around the 26th of November 2021. And if we go 12 months later, back into November 22, it was the actual bottom, right? It was down here at the bottom before the next rally took off. So this is almost like we've had a bear market play out during a bull run, which is which doesn't usually happen, right? Doesn't usually happen. And the question is, are we now going to go into another altcoin bull run and surpass these highs? So I'm a flip-flop. I'll change with the data, guys. You know, up here I was taking profits. Of course, everything was up 2,500%. Everyone was frothing at the mouth. Everyone was euphoric. Down here, when the price is down 70%, down here 80%, if the macro starts to change, which we can argue that it is, I'll start to change, right? We also have a buy signal on the monthly here. So look at the last few times we had this buy signal on the monthly flash up. Back here, it flashed up at around $250. I think I got Ethereum around $200. The buy signal on the monthly flashed around $250. This cycle, it flashed up around 1,500. We know Ethereum's had a terrible run. And it almost came back down to its bear market lows. Now, take into consideration that it almost came back to its bear market lows. And we have an ETF. You have BlackRock buying. Recently, Robinhood just migrated onto the Ethereum network. And now Tom Lee has become the Michael Saylor for Ethereum, even advising clients to sell some Bitcoin and buy some Ethereum before the banks do, were his own quotes, okay? So I can't argue that things are changing. Now, does this mean that we're going to get floods of retail paying high gas fees on Ethereum? I don't think so, no. I still think projects like Solana, projects like Sui are going to take the retail market. Where is most of the money? It's actually retail, guys, right? Institutional have a lot of money, but it's actually the retail that make most of the margin. But Do I want to have no foot in the water with this project? Absolutely not, right? Especially if it's going to become the foundational layer for stable coins, for RWAs. I'm going to do a video on what Robinhood are doing because a lot of people have been fudding that Robinhood move, and I think they're sleeping on that because that's going to be phenomenal. Bringing real estate on chain is going to change the absolute real estate game in bring trillions of dollars onto the market from countries that don't even have access right now, right? So not even money from people's sidelined wallets. New money, new investors from around the globe are going to be able to buy stocks, real estate, RWAs through Robinhood, and they're going to have a massive new customer base coming on that. They're going to wipe out the competition, in my opinion. But a lot of people don't think so. So we'll do a video on that. So things have changed for ETH, and we're starting to see that in the price, right? We're seeing this massive institutional adoption. The thing that scares me about this is we know that this dump was primarily due to grayscale, okay? Bitcoin is it just pushed $123,000, and Ethereum has almost just left its bear market price because the bear market was around $1,000 and it came down to $1,400 recently, okay? So it nearly double bottomed on its bear market price after all of this institutional accumulation and adoption. Something doesn't add up there, right? Now we're starting to break out. Now we have this monthly buy. Now the last two times we've had this monthly buy, the price has absolutely rocketed month after month after month after month. And, back here, obviously, this was a very different cycle, guys. There was really no competition. Nobody knew how big Ethereum was going to be. There was loads of developers building these brand new apps and the possibilities were changing. And then we had NFTs and, it was a completely different market to where it is now. But the last time we did have this monthly buy, we went into this rocket ship. Now, we haven't even started the green candles on this monthly move, right? And we know, well, technically for me personally, I know I don't really have to worry until we get a yellow monthly candle, right? Especially, and it's normally greens into yellow. You want to see at least one green into yellow. Green is kind of saying, oh, we're starting to get frothy, whereas blue is kind of the warm-up, right? So you go blue into grey. We haven't even started the grey yet. So usually you go blue into grey, then you start to get greens, and that's where I might be, maybe we should de-risk it, take some profits. And then hopefully you get the yellow. You're not always going to get a yellow, but hopefully you get the yellow to say, might be time to take a short here, right? So that's how I'm kind of trading it. And this is just TA. Of course, I'm looking on chain. I'm looking at the smart money. I'm looking at the leverage trades, the open funding. But very, very interesting data, the fact that we've almost been in a bear market during a bull run. And the question is now, are we actually going into a new rally, a new run? Because historically, we do have a blow-off top towards Q4. Personally, I was a bit skeptical whether I see it. I still am a little bit skeptical, given that, Donald Trump has launched a meme coin. BlackRock have been shilling Bitcoin. It's been on all the news channels, yet retail were not here, right? Retail came and left, and we can actually see on chain that retail was selling Bitcoin around 70k. But we have just recently started to get some huge Google searches for Bitcoin and Ethereum again. And we have to ask ourselves, is this the start of a new uptrend? Is this the start of a new breakout, right? Ethereum is breaking out. We're getting a lot of Google interest. Are we about to get this new surge? And don't forget how quickly this surge ended last time, okay? So the surge happened from October 24, and it was finished by November, December. Right, where it peaked, shall I say? It peaked. Smart money took profits, and then a lot of people DCA'd for 14 months and are massively down, right? Some people are down 60, 70, 80%, and are hoping to get back to break even, a lot of people, right? Hoping to get back to break even. The new traders coming in, actually not a bad time, right? Because if we are going to see a blow-off top, then, things are down 60, 70, 80, 90%. It's not a bad time for them, and they might actually come into the market and think, I'm getting this cheaper than a lot of the DCAs, right? A lot of the maxis and the moon boys were just dollar cost averaging and they're down 50%. I'm actually getting it cheaper than most of them if I come in right now. So interesting data, right? Are we about to go into a new parabolic upside? And some of the charts are absolutely horrendous. Look at this yellow signal for a short and a downtrend here as well. Phenomenal on the weekly on Arbitrum. We didn't have any other yellows as well. So it's not something that's going to pop up all the time. And of course, when you've just pumped here, 4 or 5x and the market's getting frothy, you're actually looking to take profits as well, right? So you're actually looking for these signals. Being in this massive downtrend for like 14, 15 months, and some of the targets of these these ascending triangles are crazy, guys. Look at this target up here. I've listed Arbitrum because they just partnered with Robinhood, and they're pretty much just double bottomed off the lows. When even below the 2023 lows. Crazy, absolutely crazy. So some of these moves are huge. And another reason I'm looking at some of these big caps is because what a lot of the smart money do, guys, or a lot of the Bitcoin maxis, they really do like boomer coins, and they like these old boomer coins that are down a lot, right? Because Arbitrum was 240. Okay, what's the price today? Well, it's 44 cents. It should have a rally. It's been in this consolidation. It's starting to coil up. These things coil up, and the longer they coil up, sometimes the more explosive the moves can be when they actually break out. And of course, Arbitrum actually has the Robinhood partnership as well. So it wouldn't just be a breakout on technicals. It would be a breakout on fundamentals and technicals. And a lot of the money trickles down as Bitcoin goes up and up and up. And it's mainly Ethereum. This is one of the reasons I've been flipping slightly bullish. Of course, I'm not going to go and put my whole portfolio in, guys. I think I've still got my moon bag, which is like 25%. And then I put another 5% in. So I've got around 30% in the market. I'm still heavy in cash. But this is where a lot of the money trickle down, especially when Ethereum starts to break out, because Ethereum is where a lot of the degen maxi whales are. And those guys just love to go onto Uniswap, and they love to just go and buy altcoins like this. A lot of the Bitcoin money we know is in ETFs. So yes, there might be money trickling down from BTC, but the money is mainly going to trickle down from Ethereum. So the higher Ethereum goes, and the better Ethereum does, the more money these degen maxis have made. They're going to start to take some profits. New money comes in, so new retail come in. They buy Ethereum because it's the next layer of the internet, and Tom Lee said it's going to 50,000. And then the maxis start to take profits, and they start to gamble and go into some of these lower caps that are down so much, right, as the next runners. Polygon, again, just down for 12 months, pretty much into, it looks like a bear market, right? And it's so strange because Bitcoin has just been going like this. It's very unusual. Last cycle, Bitcoin would go like this, and altcoins would go like this, right? And altcoins would 5-10x off any little BTC move. TON, just down since roughly around that same sort of time we started to take profits, was $7.80, now $3.23. I think it was under $3 when I posted it as a buy alert recently in my Discord. So these are the ones I'm looking for. This is why I'm not a DCA guy, right, guys? I wait for the right moment. You could have, TON at $7 sounded cheap, didn't it, right? It was like nearly $8. Those who DCA'd are down 50, 60, 70%, right? TON at $5 sounded cheap. Well, shortly after, you was down 55%. And, those who have patience and wait for the breakouts often end up getting that price. And it's usually 12 to 14 months for a bear market. I didn't expect us to go into an altcoin bear market. I'll say that. Injective, again, almost looks like a bear market, right? You even start to get this sideways consolidation. And the price was $51, and it's now $13.68. So as you guys know, I did flip bullish around the tariffs. When the tariff FUD kicked in and we came down to extreme fear, I did start to long Solana. I think I long Sui. I took some longs on Moodang and Ethereum. I did take profits from this. I wish I'd held it open because it was on 50x leverage, and I don't even want to know how much I would have made today. But again, pigs get slaughtered. This was actually a lot of money. In total, I'd made over 100,000. I think it was more than 100,000 that I made in a short amount of time, and I took profits. But I am back. I think this is a lot more now. I think this is like $14,000 or $15,000. And I did open another long around 2,988. I posted it in my Discord. So if you guys want to see my signals when I'm buying, when I'm taking profits, you can see those. If you watched my last YouTube video, you probably took the long on BTC, right, as well, because that's really pumping as well. That came down to support. So I'm still in these longs. I've taken a little bit of profit off of the Ethereum long because it's gone up quite a lot. Only a small amount, but I'm holding it open because of the things I mentioned, right? It seems like this is just getting started, and it seems like we are actually going to continue this momentum. And remember, we still haven't had the greys or the greens start. We're still on these blue candles. We've only just had the buy signal on the monthly flash. We came down to retest the SMC moving average. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, you get this bot for free when you join the Discord. So when you join the Discord, there's a link on my X account. So go to my X here, and then you click the Patreon to sign up. So I posted the most dangerous thing you can be in this space is a perma bull or a perma bear. Flip and flop, move with the market. Grayscale dumping Ethereum is one of the main reasons we shorted. It's one of the main reasons we didn't buy. Okay, cool. I'll short, wait for seller exhaustion. I think we can all agree that when ETH come back to almost the bear market, when Bitcoin was over 100K, classic sign of seller exhaustion. Not only that, we can see the Grayscale ETF was doing this, right? It was selling, and then it started to curve around like this and started to go sideways. And soon, guys, the Grayscale ETF will actually start to do this. And that's the catalyst where a lot of institutional money will see, okay, seller exhaustion has arrived, and we are starting to get some inflows now into Grayscale. I think a lot of those Grayscale sellers are going to regret it. I think they're going to regret selling down here. Even though I'm more maxi on Solana and Sui, I do think it's going to be hard for Solana to come back down to its bear market lows. It's going to be hard for Solana to come below this. Now you have Tom Lee basically as the Michael Saylor of ETH, advising clients to sell Bitcoin. I mean, these guys manage so much money, and also the banks are going to have to buy Ethereum to stake it. It's a nice institutional play. I just want to be on a chain that has institutions and retail, and Solana needs to work on that. I'm very disappointed to see that we don't have these Robinhood type partnerships with Solana, and I do think they will come in time. And Solana has gone down in the past, and maybe they're waiting for it to prove itself. But I do think that whoever wins this blockchain race is going to be a blockchain that's fast and cheap. So ETH might be first to market in terms of its decentralization and its trust right now, but I do think over time we're going to see other companies, other institutions actually using things like Sui and Solana, and more clients are going to go, actually guys, why are we on ETH when we could just go onto Solana and we could join JP Morgan, or we could join whoever's on there, and there's actually lots of retail customers there, right? And I think the institutions will want that access to retail. But for now, real estate's not so bad, right? Real estate on chain, who cares? If you're investing in a property that's $500,000 or 200,000 or whatever, who cares if the fee is $30 or $60 or even $200, right? Who cares what the fee is? It's still going to be much cheaper than going down the traditional real estate avenues and the red tape and the costs and expenses there. So there is a massive market there for real estate, and real estate is trillions and trillions. And to be honest, you probably don't want to be doing a real estate transaction on a chain that could go down or has some risks of going down. You're going to want max max decentralization. I just don't think we're going to see a complete Web 2 migration to Web 3 on Ethereum. I don't think we're going to see that. I do want exposure to this long term, so I am going to hold a moon bag of Ethereum. I just don't want to be that guy who said, you know, who had Ethereum and then, you know, didn't hold it, and it does go up to 3 trillion, 5 trillion market cap or whatever. It's more of a hedge, but I'm also aware that it might just fizzle out and do nothing. So I'm taking a risk personally. You know, I'm not super bullish on an expensive slow chain, obviously, but I'm also hedging in case I'm wrong, right? In case I'm wrong, I don't want to have that regret. So I'm not going to go and put 30%, 20% of my portfolio into Ethereum, but I am going to have a moon bag that, hey, if it does become this chain that is, you know, the go-to for real estate, I have exposure to it, and, you know, I'm not going to get left behind wishing I'd had a moon bag. And not a trade, by the way, guys, not a trade, an actual moon bag for 4, 5, 6 years. Okay, guys, so if you want to join the Discord, don't forget, come over here. If you want to get these buy and sell alerts, I'm going to do some deep dives on Ethereum. I'm going to do a deep dive on Arbitrum as well. We have added these to our, so Ton, Arbitrum, there's loads of others. As you guys know, we recently bought a, Render is on there as well. We recently bought a 50k, well, I did buy a 50k bull run blow off top portfolio, just in case we do see this traditional blow off top. And it's only like, it was only 5% of my portfolio. Some people have followed with 5k, some people have followed with 500, some people have used 30k. And by the way, guys, if you're not good at maths, just type in copy a portfolio of 50k, here's the portfolio, just copy my portfolio, and then put I have 1,700, you know, split it up accordingly to match the trader's portfolio, and it will do it all for you, right? So you don't have to overthink it. None of the information in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in crypto, investing in anything is highly risky, and you can lose all your money at any time. I am not a financial advisor. Always do your own research. If you want to subscribe, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys, so you don't miss out on any of these videos. I'm going to be doing loads of updates about this 50k portfolio that I've built, including where we're at, what the prices are at now. If I'm swapping some stuff out, maybe I want some exposure to some meme coins. Then yeah, follow, subscribe, like, and drop a comment. Let me know what you guys are doing. Is there any boomer altcoins like Arbitrum that are down so much? Because I think this came down like 90%. Are there any boomer altcoins like this that are down? It came down 90%. I mean, you also have to ask yourself the question, in a bear market, I'm looking for to buy things that are down 95%. So, you know, if Arbitrum is down 90%, how much lower can it go? Right? Can it go to 0? Because it's already down 90%. And this is kind of the prices I look for a bear market. And we've kind of just been given this bear market during a bull run. It's very strange. It's very strange. If we break above this, the technical target is all-time high. Can we get there? Look, this is just the technical target. Of course, we're going to have big resistance around this spike here, this previous wick. But even if it gets up here, it's still like a 2 or 3x, right? So, yeah, let me know what you guys are doing. Let me know if there's any older coins that are down a lot, that haven't rallied. I don't really want to buy too many things that have pumped a lot. I'm looking for things that are undervalued, that the money might trickle down into. That's it for now, guys. Until then, I'll catch you in the